Greetings brothers, tonight it's 2000 points, Blood Angels against Death Guard, and it's an abridged battle where I talk over the various decisions and tactics I took to get 89 out of 90 available points. Thanks for tuning in for another weekly battle report. We will be live again as soon as the COVID restrictions end in the UK, and if you enjoy the video at any time, I would appreciate it if you hit that like button. So let's have a look at the army lists, because it's important to look at them, and that's how I determined the secondaries that I was going to pick.
Primaris Chaplain on a bike. I better tell you all the shit that they've got. So he has the Wise Orator, so that means he can cast 2 litanies, and he gets to put them off on 2s. He's got the Benediction of Fury, which is a relic, Crozius. He's Mantra of Strength, and then, he's also Master of Sanctity, and then he's got the Litany of Faith.
Okay.
Tech Marine, just Master of the Forge, so basically just always heals 3.
Sure. Does he still provide the 2-up ballistic skill bonus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, just to one thing, which is
attack, obviously.
Librarian Dreadnought, which has the Biomantic Sarcophagus, a Meltagan, Psychic Fortress, Null Zone, and Iron Resolve. So basically, he has a extra wound and a 6+ in Feel No Pain. 2 squads of Infiltrators, squad of Assault Intercessors, 5-man Death Company with a Thunderhammer, rest are Chainswords, 7-man Vanguard Veteran, 2 Chainswords, 2 Power Fists, 2 Thunderhammers, and a Relic Blade. And then 9 Sanguinary Guard, 7 Huv Bolters, 2 Infernal Pistols, and then it's like 4 Power Fists, 3 Axes, and 2 Swords. So, I have all Axes.
Kill the Dreadnought. Go for it. Okay, what do we have? We have got a Patrol Detachment of Chaos Demons of the Chaos Allegiance of Nurgle. We have an Exalted Great Unclean One. Oh, now here's the problem, man. Shit, Mortarion died. Engine War, yeah, Engine War, that's the one. Oh, so many books. You get?
It's a serious army when you use 4 codexes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. He has got the Avalanche of Rotten Flesh, Exalted Great Unclean One ability, which means when he charges, he gets +1 to charge, and when he crashes into you on a 2-up, you take D3 mortal wounds.
Lovely.
Which is nice. Along with him is his psychic powers are Miasma of Pestilence and the Shriveling Pox. Miasma meaning he'll be -1 to hit. Shriveling Pox means that anyone that he doesn't like is -1 toughness.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So it's stacked with his aura, or is that the same thing?
That's Mortarion's aura. And
Oh,
it
right.
does stack.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is the Poxbringer. It's another character there who has got the psychic power Nurgle's Rot, which is anyone within 7 inches takes, on a 4-up, takes D3 mortal wounds. Then I've got 3 squads of 4 Nurglings.
Yeah.
2 Beasts of Nurgle, because I just love them.
Okay.
They look cool, like he's such a happy boy. And what have we got next? Okay, then we've got a Supreme Command Detachment for Death Guard, which of course contains Mortarion, who has the Miasma of Pestilence, Blades of Putrefaction, and Curse of the Leper psychic powers.
Okay.
And then we have a Vanguard Detachment of Death Guard with 1 extra relic. So we've got a Malignant Plaguecaster who has got... Oh, what's he got again? Was it Miasma of Pestilence or was it the other one? He should have Miasma of Pestilence and Putrescent Vitality. That's what he's got. A squad of 20 Plague Marines with 1 flail, 2 little spitties, and the captain has got a plasma pistol, the sergeant, whoever he is. Then we have got a Biologus Purifier, who's hanging about here. A Foul Blightspawn, who's there. A Noxious Blightbringer, who has the relic, the Daemon's Toll, which means that any Death Guard units within 7 inches of him get a 5+ invulnerable save.
Okay.
Then we've got the Plague Surgeon, who has, you see it, Alembical Narthecium, which basically means that I can reroll disgustingly resilient rolls of 1 and 2 when I take them. He also has Hypertoxic Tinctures, which means I can reroll Plague Weapon wound rolls of 1s and 2s.
Okay, where's this guy?
Oh, he's that dude.
Okay.
And he also has the relic weapon Worm Spitter, which means that if it hits you, basically every weapon that subsequently shoots at you is a plague weapon.
Okay.
I've got one Mephitic Blight Hauler,
Yeah.
the multi-melta, Bile Spur, and something else. And that's it.
So I picked Assassinate because there were so many different characters. Mortarion and the Great Unclean One, although I don't want to spend too many resources killing them, I may have to kill them depending on the map and depending on if they get in. So Assassinate seemed like a really good choice. All Fronts also seemed like a really good choice, in that the two objectives on the east and west of the battlefield, essentially, if you're looking at it as long ways, I need to have units on those. So it's very easy to push them just beyond the centre line and then essentially get into All Fronts. I also knew that I was going to be trying to contest his backfield with my small throwaway Death Company unit. So All Fronts seemed like it would make a lot of sense on this map. And then the final objective I took, which is one that I take a lot, Oath of the Moment, which is if you don't fail a leadership test, if you kill a monster, vehicle or character, and then if you're in the centre of the map. So I figured that I'm probably not going to fail too many leadership tests. As I mentioned, there's so many characters in there, I can probably kill 1 or 2 every turn, so we'll probably be able to get like an easy 8, maybe even an easy 10 points out of that, and then surely I can have a unit in the middle of the map a couple of times throughout the game, and so that would potentially max me out on Oath of the Moment points. So we're going to go straight into the battle now. I really hope you like this abridged version of the battle report. Please let me know in the comments any criticisms or anything that you think we could do better, and happy to answer any questions or tactics or anything really in the comments. I reply to every comment on this channel, so I hope to see you down below. So we're on the long edges of the battlefield here, and between the two deployment zones there's 24 inches. There's obviously one objective in each deployment zone. The one in the north of the map is hidden behind the building with the lights on it, but it is there. And what I decided to do was use my infiltrators to screen one side of the board, and I chose this to be my right flank. So infiltrators above the objective in the middle there, and infiltrators on the building over at that right. They're kind of stuck up there on that building on the right, in that it's going to need a full 6-inch move plus advance to get off that building because it is 6 inches high. And it was kind of a tough call because it kind of made those infiltrators kind of very static, but I made the call and then I put like a really strong deployment on my left flank, and basically had enough units there to basically screen any other deep striking. I knew Mortarion was going to deep strike, and I knew the Great Unclean One was likely going to deep strike because he pulled it in a previous game. And yeah, he covers both objectives in the early game in his first turn with Nurglings. So as I move up on the left flank, I position my Vanguard Veterans to be able to charge those Nurglings and basically move into another board quadrant to get me my all fronts. The Sanguinary Guard and the Chaplain on the bike sneak forward ever so slightly, playing very defensively here. He killed one of the infiltrators on the building roof with that Plague Crawler, and he did have a Beast of Nurgle, you can see it there, within line of sight from the Super Heavy Tank. So all the Super Heavy Tank did in this first turn was shot over at that one Beast of Nurgle, the painted one, and actually killed it. So there was another Beast of Nurgle on that objective, and that Beast of Nurgle there was getting him all fronts in that board quadrant. So we killed that out, and we also killed his Plague Crawler. So basically that's all we did in turn one, and use my Vanguard Veterans. You can see now they've killed the Nurglings and they've moved forward into the board quadrant that I need for my all fronts. So quite a simple turn one, and nothing really happening at all on the right flank. And I felt quite good at this point, like the right flank was generally very protected, but we didn't score much in turn one. We killed a vehicle, we didn't fail leadership test, and we got one all fronts. So in turn two, you can see here he moved that Beast of Nurgle again to get him his all fronts. He still has Nurglings up in the top left hand quadrant, and now he has to decide where he's deep striking. And at this point I felt like his deep strike potential was really very, very limited. You know, he can't come in on the right flank, and even if he does, what's he going to charge? Like some infiltrators? So he ends up putting the Great Unclean One down 9 inches away from the Vanguard Veterans. And Vanguard Veterans, as we know, generally will survive most things on a charge or shooting, just because of those storm shields. So he was very limited what he could do with this Great Unclean One. And yeah, so the Great Unclean One did come in, and he did go after those Vanguard veterans, and it did do some work. I believe we lost 4 Vanguard veterans, but I always run a number with chainswords, so we take the wounds on the chainsword guys, and it's not really the end of the world. So I lose a few Vanguard veterans, and then I think he maybe did a psychic action, but we're just going to focus on what I did here in this battle report and what points I accumulated and how I played the game. So we're not worried too much about what he's scoring. We're just worried about my secondaries, objectives and stuff, and how I can score. So in my turn, what I'm actually going to make the call of, and I've done this before with the Vanguard veterans, is I'm going to fall them back out of combat, and I'm going to put them somewhere useful for me to get like an all-front scoring, or I could have gone for an Oath of Moment scoring, but with that massive squad, I think it was 20 Plague Marines coming in, I decided this was time in turn 2. The chaplain on the bike is going to move forward his 14 inches and get really close so we can make an easy charge. The Sanguinary Guard are going to fly across this building, again, going to make an easy charge. What's happening in the backfield as well at this point is my Death Company are going to come down and notice that they're positioned to be in the 4th quarter, essentially, of the board, so that when we come to score our all fronts, we will be able to be scoring 4. And now our Vanguard veterans are essentially positioned down in that other quadrant, having fallen back from the Great Unclean One, because I didn't like the odds. I mean, the Great Unclean One killed 4 of them. I felt like he was going to probably be able to finish the squad before the Vanguard veterans could potentially fight back. So, yeah, in turn 2, I mean, short of losing 4 Vanguard veterans and 1 infiltrator, I felt fairly confident at this point. And the super heavy tank is in a generally good position. There was good firing arcs for it. The Tech Marine is right there to keep it going. And now what I want to show you is the power of the super heavy tank. So I was fixing to get ready to charge all the Sanguinary Guard and the Chaplain on the bike into the 20 models of Death Guard. I had the Assault Intercessors ready to charge the Great Unclean One if for some reason he survives. And also, I'm going to use my Death Company, probably going to save my reroll, to get them into that Beast of Nurgle in his backfield.
Not yet. No.
This will shoot, I think, everything at that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Right, so let's see what happens here.
2d6 shots.
Oh dear.
Yeah, let's have 6 volcano cannon shots. Why not? Hitting on 2s. All hit. Strength 14.
Toughness 7, so 2s. Oh.
5 saves.
1, 2, 3, 4,
What
5.
is it? 3d3 the damage?
Well, I only passed 1.
24 damage.
Quick maths from down there.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I mean, I know it might have been overkill, but I'll just
not
put it there.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Probably has sense of one.
24 damage. Right, let's see what we've got here.
How many wounds they got?
15. Uh-oh. That's a really bad roll. He's dead. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Yeah, he got annihilated. I totally fucked it.
I mean, you did have 8 more las cannons and then 9 heavy bolters coming out.
It's been alright, to be honest, but
I mean, it's hard to.
Does he explode or anything?
So now, with the Great Unclean threat dealt with fairly easily, I mean, we wasted a bunch of extra shots from the tank. I just declared everything at it. I really wanted rid of it. I've sort of started using this tank as a single unit clearer, because if you focus fire all the las cannons and the volcano cannon, you will technically, or you will usually manage to clear just about any unit off the board. So trying not to split fire unless I'm very confident. I wasn't confident, so I just wanted rid of the Great Unclean One, so we did that. And now we have a great big squad of Sanguinary Guard. It isn't turn 3 yet, and I guess I don't have a priest in this battle, so they are without Savage Echoes. But let's run them into the 20 Plague Marines, and let's have the chaplain next to him to let them get full rerolls from Litany of Hate. I also have Litany of Faith active, so I was able to shrug off mortal wounds on 5 if I need to. So let's see how the Sanguinary Guard did next.
Big boy. This squad's gonna get wrecked, Colin.
Are they going to die?
Well, they're gonna get hurting.
It's a bit sad.
So Sanguinary Guard is 3 attacks, so it's 4 for charging. We've got Power Fists on 4 guys. So the red dice are Power Fists, so that's 16 Power Fists.
Okay.
Then we've got 3 axes, so again it's 4. And we've got 3 guys with axes, so that's 12. Do you know what, I don't have 12 black dice, so we'll use these ones. And then we've got 2 guys with swords, so they're on this.
Okay.
So swords and axes are hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s. Power Fists are normally hitting on 3s, -1 for the Power Fist, +1 because I'm next to my Warlord, so hitting on 3s, rerolling everything as well. Okay.
What have we got?
So we've got quite a few ones, but the rerolls will catch that up. One axe missed.
Okay. So what have we got?
Power Fists are strength 8, so they'll be wounding on 2s. Axes are strength 6, so they'll also be wounding on 2s. And the swords are strength 5, so they'll wound on 3s. Is that right? Because you're toughness 5?
Correct.
Right, so 2s. Too many dice. And 3s.
Okay.
Okay, so we lose those, we lose that, and we lose that. So,
What have we got?
Power Fist 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13
10.
at -3.
13. So 13 5-ups. Do them first. Oh, my dice rolls are poor. Okay, damage of the Power Fists? 2. Okay, so we've got that many. So, first one?
You can,
Feel the pains.
yeah, what you can do is you can just roll all those, and if you get any 6s, you can roll them again.
What?
You have to take that many Field of Pains, right?
I've tried to play Stalin before.
Okay.
Rerolling that. Okay, 1 dies.
Yeah.
1 there.
Try, John.
Nah. 2 die.
You can speed up in the videos.
4. Not making any of them. 5. 6. Jesus. This is bad. Ah, he's good.
Okay.
8 dead. And last one. Dead. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dead so far.
Okay.
What else have we got? So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go 6, 7, 8. Oh dear.
This is still John's turn.
Yeah, he's just slaughtering me now.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at -2.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Again, 2 damage each.
7, 8, 9. So 5-ups. Oh, it's not looking good, Andrew. Not with that fucking kind of rolling. That's awful. Okay, so 1.
Here we go again.
Nope, 1 dead. 5.
Fine.
Dead. Dead. Oh, Plague Surgeons do nothing. Plague Surgeon, do something. Oh, no, thanks. Dead. Oh man, we're
What's he like? You roll 1s for it or something?
1s and 2s. But I've fucked it up with all of them. That's another one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 5 dead, and 5 more dead. Oh, they're white.
Well, there's 6 more attacks coming.
They're dead. Oh no! Actually, it's alive still. 2 guys left.
Okay.
So 6 more attacks.
Yeah, and they are minus. Well, they're the same as the Power Fist, -3.
2. Oh, don't think we're gonna pass morale for these guys somehow. It's past 2 damage.
Again, 2.
2, so it's 4. So 1 dead. Other guy Dead. They died.
Squad wiped.
Jesus, obliterated with the Blood Angels.
So with Sanguinary Guard mopping up 20 Plague Marines, we are in a great position. We scored 10 points for our primaries, we got the 1 Assassinate on the Great Unclean one, we scored 4 for Oath of Moment, and we're in all fronts thanks to the Death Company. There was 2 characters that fell back that are about to flame the Death Company with 2d6 shots, so that is going to be pretty nasty, and Mortarion is so limited where he can come in, because that right flank is still protected by those infiltrators, and I guess I've got units all down the left flank now when the camera flips. The only way Mortarion can really do is come in that very bottom left-hand corner, and he actually needed to make a 9-inch charge. It would have probably actually been 10, because we should have probably measured down diagonally, whereas we just let him roll the 9. But, yeah, I mean, charges are not just measured across the ground. If they are above, then you have to factor that in. So Mortarion may not have been actually able to get in, but he did get in with his 9-inch charge, and he did 80 wounds against the super heavy tank. What I failed to realise is the super heavy tank is Titanic, so he can actually fall back and shoot. So he could have fall back, and the Tech Marine could have healed him a little bit, which I think he did, and he could have shot the Volcano Cannon and all the Last Cannons and everything at Mortarion, but we'd ended up not doing that because I didn't realise. It used to be on the data sheet for the super heavy tank. I guess they've moved it now, so now I know that. Meanwhile, the Librarian Dreadnought thought he would have a little bit of Mortarion, and I kind of just finally took those intercessors off that top right-hand building because they didn't need to be there because there's nothing else to deep strike. So they advanced down off the building to try and come up and basically help me with some all-fronts or claim an objective. The Librarian Dreadnought did work against Mortarion, actually. He did 15 wounds of damage to Mortarion, and I believe with the disgusting resilient Mortarion ended up being on 5 wounds. Unfortunately, he doesn't get profiled very hard in terms of like his ballistic and weapon skill. So Mortarion was still quite a bit of a threat, but my troops, the Sanguinary Guard and the Chaplain, cleaned up a ton more characters, and yeah, I mean, primaries, I'm on all 4 primaries actually, so I ended up getting like 25 points in turn 3, 9 for Assassinate, 10 for Oath of Moment, and I managed to get my all fronts again. So generally, in terms of what I'm doing and scoring, it's all going very well. Mortarion does now finally kill the super heavy tank. He killed the Librarian Dreadnought. He kills the Tech Marine as well. So I mean, that's a little bit problematic. But my Sanguinary Guard were able to move into the middle of the board, secure that for another Oath of Moment score. And we mopped up just about everything. All he's got left is like one of those characters in the backfield that the Death Company ended up retreating away from.
And then turn 5, Colin.
It's turn 5 already.
What do you mean already? You've got 1 unit left. You're about to get tabled.
Okay.
The only way you don't get tabled is if you run away.
It's cool, I'm not running away.
Okay, just say.
Got a job to do. Got a job to do.
That's no points.
Yeah, seriously.
So what I could do is kind of, yeah, I know.
So as he moves into turn 5, he does literally only have Mortarion left, and I guess he's going to try and move to the middle to do a psychic action or 2. And I guess Mortarion probably would have been dead if I'd realised that I could have shot my tank at him. I very much doubt he would have survived 8 las cannons and the Volcano Cannon and all those heavy bolters, even with the profile. But regardless, Mortarion jumps into the middle. He does kill like 5 Sanguinary Guard, but the remaining Sanguinary Guard dish out those last 5 wounds, and in my turn, there's really nothing to do. I have unit on every objective, 2 sets of infiltrators, the Assault Intercessors who really did nothing this game, the Vanguard Veterans on the backfield, and that scores me another 10 for my primaries, or another 15, which I guess gets capped at 45. I did the full Assassinate. I got the full Oath of Moment again because I have the units in the middle, and I killed another monster in Mortarion. And then for all fronts, I score 14 here. The only turn that we didn't get all fronts in was that very first turn where we just got the 2 points. So in terms of overall scoring then, we score 89 out of an available 90 points. So I hope you enjoyed that battle. Leave me a like if you did. I want to talk a little bit about strategy here before we end this video, and one of the key things I think is on a map like this there was very little cover, right? So playing as a Blood Angels player on a map like this can be very challenging. it wouldn't have really mattered if I'd had the Wrath of Baal on a Sangari Ancient. There was no cover to jump to. Fortunately, the Death Guard list, or this one I was playing, wasn't overly shooty, but my first turn of barely moving the Sangari Guard forward, keeping them in a position where I really wanted to be the one initiating combat. I wanted to be making the charges, and that was going to be super important in this game. I also felt like the Death Guard player had Psychic Ritual, so I knew he needed to get some of his psychic characters within 6 inches of the middle of the board. I also knew he had taken Vital Ground, which means he has to control both the left and right objectives. So by using my infiltrators to protect my right flank, as it were, I then put my show of force on the left. Feeling confident with my troops there, I could definitely shift whatever he had off that left objective. It turned out to just be Nurglings, but then a great unclean one did come in as well. But confident that I could shore up that side of the battlefield, and then I knew he was going to have to get to the middle. So I left my Sangari Guard just behind that building so that it would be able to jump forward and make that sort of like really devastating turn 2 charge, as you saw. And I think they wiped the whole squad of Plague Marines, and the chaplain on the bike wasn't in the clip, right? So he got his 6 or 7 attacks after that as well. So yeah, I think a lot of things went right in this battle, and Death Guard are changing, so Sangari Guard won't be quite as useful against them once they get their new disgustingly resilient rules. But in essence, I felt like I played this game very well. I felt like my positioning for the all fronts was also very good, and I have talked a lot on my channel about having just that one heavy weapon in like a small squad of Death Company, and in this battle, and hopefully the next battle you'll see on this channel, both times there's a single model left with a Thunderhammer. The whole squad gets wiped except this one model, and that one model still goes around the board doing some work, picking up me some scoring. In this case, I think it jumps in to the middle to give me some Oath of the Moment points, but in another game it definitely jumped off and hid in a corner to give me some all front points. So I think, and again, the Vanguard veterans, if you watched last week's Sisters of Battle, the Vanguard veterans are there. They're my most forward jumpy unit. They always take the heaviest enemy fire, so to speak. Then last week it was like 6 multi-meltas shot at them, and we only lost like 1 Vanguard veteran. This week it was a great unclean one coming headlong into the Vanguard veteran, and I mean they did take 4 losses, but you know what, those Vanguard veterans were alive at the end of the game. They did a tactical fallback, they scored me points for all fronts, they scored me points for primaries, and yeah, I generally really like the Vanguard veterans. The Sangari Guard probably wouldn't survive up front like that. It's the Storm Shields that sort of set them apart. I mean, a Death Company probably wouldn't survive as well. So using that Vanguard veterans almost as just a protection line for other troops is really how I like to play them. Thanks again for tuning in. I really hope that we'll see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then please consider doing that. We are here every week with Blood Angels content, and we now have just opened channel membership, so if you want to check that out, you can hit the join button down below. Hope to see you all in the next video. By the blood are we made. Peace.